You just found the perfect product that helps with staying cool during hot summer runs. No more gross warm water. Stay cool with this product from Gear Handle. This hydration tube cover helps keep your water cool and easily accessible. Stay hydrated during those long summer runs or even delay from freezing in the winter. Plus, they're compatible with various brands of water bladders and come in various colors. Visit GearHandle.com and use promo code H2O today.
O'Reilly!
It's Superstart Battery Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Get up to a $25 gift card after rebate with the purchase of select Superstart batteries. Our professional parts people will test your old battery for free and recommend the right battery for your vehicle. For power, performance, and reliability, choose Superstart batteries only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's really fucked up. It's one of the most fucked up movies I've ever seen in my life.
It's pretty fucked up, yeah.
Like when you think about it, like and just like lay it out, like it could have been a 30-minute like short story, but
they really leaned into it.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's good.
BooBaes.
Hi.
Hello.
And welcome.
Yes, to BooBaes.
BooBaes.
That's right. And we are your hosts. I'm Caitlin.
I'm Joshua.
And we're here to talk about some really fucked up things today.
Yeah, really are. This movie really sent me. This movie really, yeah. This movie, like whenever the what's it called? Not the is it a twist? I don't know if it's a twist per se, but like it really did. Just like I was like, oh, what the fuck?
It is. Yeah, this movie has you believing a lot of things.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I watched it. It was in about 2019 when it came out. I was like, what?
It can go a lot of ways.
Yeah, I was thinking a bunch of different things, and even now watching it today, I was like, what is happening? I couldn't really remember. I was going through all the like old theories I had in my mind, and then apparently I had fabricated some also memories of the film, as I tend to do.
Yeah.
So
or you just mix them up with maybe.
I do.
Like
I must have watched it right back to back with another movie, because I know that I was watching this. This came out in 2019. I probably watched it like 2020, so it was probably like pandemic time, and I was just binging like every single horror film that was on Netflix at the time. And
as one does.
Yeah. And so I think I probably had watched it like back to back with another movie. I know we don't have anything in here today.
It's okay.
To prop
the phone's up. I don't think it'll hold up on that. It's okay. Okay. But yeah,
anyways, we're talking about The Lodge,
which is a psychological horror thriller. Yes. And it is directed by Veronika, Franz, and Severin Fiala. Hopefully I pronounced that right.
That's about how I would have said it.
And also written by Franz, Fiala, and Sergio Casci, and starring Riley Keough, Jaeden, Martell, McHugh, Alicia Silverstone, which I was like, whoa, she's in here, Clueless, and Richard Armitage.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I know, what a nice little baby like cameo from her. She doesn't have a big
and even
I mean, she has a big role
when she exited out. I was like, whoa. Yeah. It was like in your face.
Even as I was rewatching it, I was like, in my notes I said, oh, I feel like she's about to, trigger warning, this does have lots of there is a completed suicide in it.
Yes.
And
so if you
also just gun violence.
Yeah, or if you're sensitive, if it triggers you, there's kind of a lot of a few mental health issues that are tackled within the film. So yeah, just caution. And if you are struggling with mental health, please go and find help. Ask for help. Reach out to some loved one. Don't keep that inside.
Or to us.
Yes.
We'll help you. I'm
DM
not registered,
the BooBaes.
But
But yeah.
But yes, also Jaeden Martell though. That was this was I think the first other movie I saw him in other than
It. Yeah.
And so that was pretty cool. That I was like, oh, cool.
Same.
Like,
And
he's there.
yeah. And then his sister, which her name is I think Leah McHugh, or is it Riley?
Leah, it's Leah.
It's Leah. Yeah. She is in
McHugh.
Eternals, which is a Marvels movie. She is Sprite.
Oh yeah, the one with the little hair.
Yeah, that's her. Yeah.
I've not seen that movie.
Uh,
Yeah, that's what I heard.
it's.
Also, just from the trailer alone, I was like, ugh.
Well, I was actually really stoked
she
for
was
it.
also in Goodnight
TBH.
Mommy, which was directed by the same
Oh.
people.
Gotcha.
I do believe.
I
Both of them.
still haven't seen that
Veronika,
one.
Franz, and Severin Fiala.
Gotcha. That's the one with Naomi Watts, right?
And they just remade
And
it.
Fight. Oh,
Yes.
the new one is the one with Naomi Watts.
Yes.
So that's not the new one.
No,
Okay,
this
got
is
it.
the original 2014, I believe.
Mm.
Yes, 2014.
It's so crazy how like they'll remake stuff and it's only been like it's not even been 10 years.
I know.
It's
Whenever my brother recently was like, have you seen Goodnight Mommy? And I was like, yes. And he was like talking about,
And
Stuff, and I was
and
like,
you're like that
what?
doesn't sound like the same movie.
and then he was like, yeah, the one that was just released. I was like,
no.
what do you, Goodnight Mommy's been around for a hot
Ages.
second. And he was like, no, it was released in 2022 or 2021 or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? They remade that already?
Mm-hmm.
What?
That's why I'm like, what? Same.
I had no clue. I didn't
so-
even know. I haven't seen it yet. Still the new version. I would
haven't.
love to cover the original
We'll have to put it
sometime
into the
soon
queue.
because it's very good
In
in my opinion.
Well, yeah. I'll wait for my booze.
This one got kind of surprisingly they weren't low, but 76 on Rotten
Well, I think
Tomatoes
it's
and
a
a 6 out of 10. I was like, I thought this movie was really good.
But that might be for par because this is definitely like it's psychological. It's not like
Yeah.
it has a lot of like action, per se. It's just more like you have to really like be into it. And honestly, it could be really dark for some people.
That's true. It is really fucking dark.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
pretty fucking twisted, especially
it
when you
is.
get to the reality of what is actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
Like it almost would have been better if they were in purgatory.
That's what I was. Yeah.
Because
when
whenever
that
you
twist
think
happened,
about
I'm
it,
like,
it's
oh,
like,
and well then,
Jesus.
and everything that transpires after finding out that it's not what it is. It's very sad.
Yeah.
It's just sad. But let's go ahead and dive right into it. Right.
Mhm.
We start with like. Basically you're in a house and you're kind of seeing like everything like little furniture and stuff and
You can tell it feels.
no,
Oh, really?
I thought
Oh.
that this was just I thought look, my notes are like we open to a house and it's like eerie,
little lodge.
the music.
There
yeah.
was something that tipped me off the first, and it could have just been it. Now I can't remember my initial thoughts the first time I watched it. Obviously, I don't remember yesterday, but I do remember there being a significance of a dollhouse. So maybe that's what tipped me off. But I think it was something about one of the chairs. It was like that side chair in the kitchen that I was like, that's too small. That's too fake. Something with that chair is not right. I don't know.
I was completely like fooled, and then like I just was thinking like in my notes I'm just like, well, this is a lot of foreshadowing. It seems like this is kind of setting up kind of like Midsummer,
Starting at the end.
Midsummer, like also like how it has the mural at the beginning, so it kind of tells you already what's supposed to
laying
transpire.
out the whole story.
Yeah.
Because as we're going through that, like shots of the lodge, we're hearing Mia and Aiden's name getting called. So automatically we're getting the like two what we can assume will be kind of main characters laid out right from the get. But then you're getting that like religious iconography of like Mother Mary. Is that who it was? I don't know.
I don't know.
In
It's a
that painting?
saint or if it's something. Or
Yeah, I call her Mother Mary the whole time.
I didn't call her anything. I was just like the painting.
The painting.
The
Yeah.
painting. But it's essentially like a Mother Mary figure. Yeah.
Yeah. It has a little that halo around what was
Like a nun almost looking type of thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. But
And
not
then-
in the, not
and
in
like a
headshot.
lot of older art, the religious styles, they have that gold circle around their heads signifying that they are holy. Yeah. And then we get the gun on the table as well. And that gun did look really real. And when you think about that being on scale and like a little dollhouse and it being that small, it's like, what?
They really did
They did a
pay
good
attention
job.
to the details.
Yeah.
Which is always important.
But that's when we pan out.
And I'm like, oh, it was a fucking dollhouse.
It's a fucking dollhouse.
And I was like,
That's one intense dollhouse.
I'm
And fucking creepy at that.
and for some reason, the next thing
Why does
on
a
my
dollhouse
notes, I'm
need
like,
a gun?
I don't know. Well, they're very, very, very detailed. But, and also, it's like we said, foreshadowing. So I was just like, I don't know why next time I know, I'm like, me, LOL, crying. I think someone's crying. I don't know. But.
Oh, yeah. The mom sobbing in the mirror. My next note was, this woman's house is sterile. Like the most boring motherfucking place on the face of the planet.
Well, maybe it was supposed to match how she maybe felt on the inside.
Yeah.
No life.
No life. Just barren.
Yeah. But
her living
she's not
room
barren
was really cute.
because she has 2 children.
She does.
We have our, I wouldn't call him protagonist at all. Our son, which is Jaeden.
And then little girl Mia.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And she's
been calling out for them.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So those were the 2 she was calling out for. We can assume, yes, that this is their mother. Mm-hmm. And obviously she's got some mental health issues. She's, was she cleaning the bathroom mirror or something like that? And then all of a sudden just kind of broke down looking in the mirror.
No, she was doing her eyelashes.
Oh, curling eyelashes.
And then whenever she pulled it down, she was just like looking there for a second, and then it was just like tears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done that.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has to have a good cry in the bathroom mirror once a week.
Literally been me every single day.
Yep.
And so they're essentially they're having to get ready. And here I'm like, oh, it's the boy from It. Because they're about to go over to their father's place. And before we're getting to that, even Mia is like, is she gonna be there? I think she asked her mom, right?
Yeah.
And then she's like, no. The mom says no. So we're like, wait, who is she? What's going on?
Clearly, Mia doesn't like someone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And but we're not quite sure who yet.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to the dad's house, and from the window, even the mom sees
that there's
her
a woman
in
there. Yeah.
And she's like, fuck, I just told my daughter she's not going to be here. Kind of thing.
But then we get to them going to the door. Dad is like, I like the house, by the way. The house is super fucking cool.
I was like, his house is pretty fucking neat.
That door.
His kitchen, it is so tiny.
It was a galleyway.
But I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not...
whole window at the front, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I liked it.
The view.
Was a fan of his house.
So clearly he has to make some money, and he has a lodge. Right.
Yeah.
Anyways, so they're...
Or at least the family did. I mean, and her house was pretty massive to start, or their family home.
That's probably what it was.
Yeah.
And then he
moved out.
Got that out.
That's his bitch.
Because he's there. We pan to her going into the house, and she goes to that kitchen, and there's 2 wine glasses. And then obviously there's been him and someone else here, and she's trying to talk to him, and then she sees that there's a woman going out of the backyard, out of the back gate, and I'm like, oh my God, homegirl was literally just there. Because he said, don't worry, she's not here, she wasn't here, or something like that.
Yeah, and it's like, boy... Like, no, she is here. You're just making her leave like at the last second.
And I'm like, who is she? And then I'm like, oh, she's the other woman.
She is the other woman. Because as we find out, their divorce, they have clearly separated.
Yeah.
But their divorce is not finalized. They are still legally married.
Because that's when he's like, we need to finalize the divorce. And she's just like... And
we go, what? Because he's like, Grace and I are going to get married. And she dips.
She literally just turns around and just walks out.
Okay. Bye.
Not even. She didn't even say that.
Yeah. No. Well, yeah. I think she said okay or some sort of word, and then just literally turns tail and leaves.
Yeah.
Does not say bye. No.
Oh, and she like slams the door and everything.
Yeah. And clearly you can tell at that moment, like, because whenever he gave her a compliment too, whenever she got there, and he was like, you look nice, kind of thing, and then was like asking if she wanted coffee, and she felt almost comforted. I felt like it seemed as if she did not want this divorce.
Oh yeah,
she didn't want it to happen. She still had hope that they could somehow get back together, and then he basically was like, nope, and that was the final straw for her. And the kids were away, so mommy goes home.
Mommy's home. She's got some wine. She's drinking wine, and
she's fixing up the house too. Like, you can tell she's putting everything in perfect order, like lining up all the magazines on the coffee table or the entryway table. I don't know. And then also the chandelier was so cute above her kitchen table.
I didn't honestly, the way I didn't pay any attention to these details because it happened so fast.
I feel it did. I think she's about to complete suicide. I couldn't remember. And then all of a sudden I was like, fuck. I literally said, fuck.
Yeah.
Out loud.
Because what else can you do?
Because it still took me by surprise.
Because it happened so fast. Because she literally just like reaches into her purse, pulls out a gun, puts it in her mouth, and then it just pops off.
So fast.
Because
she did not hesitate.
It's not like gun goes into the mouth, and then it's
She
like
doesn't
2
sit there and
seconds. It's literally
cry.
just gun to lip, and it pops off.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so fast.
It was such a swift movement. Like she had a sip of
practiced
her
this.
wine. She must have. She had a sip of her wine, kind of sat there for a second looking like, just like
Stoic.
she was just drinking some wine alone after she just dropped off her kids at her ex-husband's house. And
she unalived herself.
So quickly pulled that gun out.
The S word? She unalived herself.
Oh, is that a bad word now too?
No, I just know like on YouTube and stuff like that, you can't you'll get demonetized if you use and suicide.
So I know SA.
Just that
yeah. I've already said it like 4 times.
I know.
I just know to say complete and not committed.
I feel that.
Because
what you
they
mean.
weren't committing a crime.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and so it goes essentially segue into her funeral. Where we see Mia's sobbing in the pew next to Aiden, the dad.
And while in the car, we find that she has a doll that's painted exactly like her mother. It's dressed in the same dress, even. She's got like the same clothes as her mother.
Her mom, yeah.
Because on the drive over, like her and Aiden were playing with the doll. Yeah. And he was like, why'd you have to like make it look like mom or something like that, is what she said.
And I'm assuming there was all those dolls that were in the dollhouse that were a representation of all of them.
Yeah.
So that's
I think it definitely had to be.
And so that's how she had it.
It was her little play family that was her family, which is odd. I mean, it is.
Is it?
It's nice,
Some
but
kids. It was giving me hereditary vibes.
This movie gave me a lot of things. I could see Hereditary with those little exact
the replica dolls. Yeah.
And then whenever we get the shaky cam footage, I was getting Sinister.
Yeah.
With the kid.
I could see that. Yeah.
And then I was also like this little bit right there with talking about like the dollhouses and dolls being like people. It kind of reminds me of He's Out There.
Oh, yeah. I remember.
And that's also in a lodge.
That movie.
As well.
I remember
where
that
the
movie.
dad is not there and it's the mom and 2 children.
And then dad gets fucking falls from the fucking roof. Oh, man. We've seen so many movies.
We have.
That was a while back ago. Wait, when was that?
I have no clue.
I'll have to go back. And look, that's funny. It's like a time capsule.
I forget half the shit we've covered.
I mean, we've covered quite a few
over a year now.
Yeah. And so they're this little girl, little Mia, I think they're back home at this point. They go back home right after the funeral because I mean it's just a funeral, it's standard funeral.
Yeah, and I think so. During the funeral, we hear the pastor saying like, "Death is but a new beginning, a new start."
Oh yeah,
and I felt like that's kind of ends up playing a little bit of a role. I mean, it's not what Aaron, the cult leader, was saying, but I feel like it kind of plays into it, and then. Also, I'm
religion
sorry,
itself.
I laughed a lot when she tried to send her balloon off with the mom dolly.
Oh, that's right. That was so sad. Yeah, and she just like rips it off. Yeah,
it was very sad. But I was just like, you need like at least 3 balloons.
Yeah, more helium.
Have you seen the movie Up?
I'm just kidding. You need so many balloons. And so this little girl also, she's acting for her life.
Really
because she is really conveying the emotion. Like her mom, I could have believed her mom died in real life.
Yeah.
Both
of the kids.
Yeah.
Honestly, all of the acting.
Yeah.
Because
it was pretty good.
There's that ending scene, I think, alone.
Even the dad made me like not like him.
Yeah. No, I didn't
too
like
much.
him.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you're really kind of insensitive.
Oh, he is. He was very like everything was about him, especially when he's at the house at the lodge with Grace, and they're like in the nighttime and like you like be more Yeah, he was very insensitive. He was very selfish.
The kids could hear everything.
Yeah. And so
Please go out to the fucking car or something.
They're at home. Little Mia's like just fucking sobbing in bed. Her dad can't really console her. That's whenever he walks out and Aiden comes in and is just like holding her hand and they're like falling asleep. Just
such
crying.
A sweet little moment. And we pan into the dollhouse and we see the doll versions of the family like praying to that Mother Mary painting, which was like, ugh. Like this little girl still has the whereabouts to do that. I don't know. I'm sure that it just was like, ugh. And then we flash to them sitting around a turkey.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, who the fuck hangs turkeys?
Yeah, I was looking at that. I was like, why are turkeys hanging? I don't get it.
I was so confused.
Like fully cooked turkeys. It's not even like,
Yeah.
I feel like it would make more sense if it was like a
meat
gobble
shop.
gobble turkey.
Yeah.
Like a
like a little
with
pin
feathers.
the tail on the turkey.
Like feathers,
That
but
kind
it
of
was
thing.
like a cooked turkey.
Yeah.
All of them hanging.
Well, later on in that little family video or whatever, it looks like they're wearing like turkey hats. I'm
yeah.
wondering if
They
it's
must-
those turkey hats hung
Maybe.
up.
But they
because
must really love Thanksgiving.
I guess so. I can't relate. So, but yeah.
And so they are having a conversation because the dad is telling them that he wants to take them to the lodge along with Grace.
And it's been 6 months now.
Oh, it has, yes. And we do get from Aiden, he's like, she's
Absolutely
crazy
the fuck not.
because she's crazy.
Yeah, he's like, you left mom for a psychopath. That's what he says.
She's from one of your books, isn't
yeah.
she?
And then at that point, you're like, what?
Yeah,
What?
because you're like getting information like, oh, okay, that's kind of putting some more
In your
know,
books.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And we figure out he was saying Grace was a part of that cult or something like that. And so that's whenever we have him telling the dad, like, fuck you, storms off.
Yeah, he literally leaves with fuck you. And I'm like, damn.
Yeah. And then that's whenever it cuts to Mia and Aiden in the dad's office, right?
Yeah, they're sending Grace home basically because Grace was supposed to come over and eat dinner with them, but then clearly it was not quite the right time. And I did think it was like kind of creepy how she made a plate for her little mom dolly, which is like, it's very sweet, but that's also like, oh, that's so sad.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, but they sent her home.
Kids do that. Kids like give like.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, like I had tea parties.
Yeah.
And stuff too.
Yeah.
It just was like
I
the
mean,
significance
that-
of it being
that-
her mom that was like also.
Well, and that
so much more
doll
sad.
throughout the whole movie, that doll is literally the embodiment of them not letting her go.
It also like at some points I thought this was like
An evil doll.
Yep.
Same.
Whenever I first saw it, I was like, oh
I
my
thought
God,
the
this
doll
doll
was.
is playing
I
tricks.
thought the doll was like doing
this mom
everything.
is out to get him. Like she's like, back the fuck up off my family. I would have loved it. Little haunted
and then
Barbie.
at a certain point too, I actually thought if it was maybe the spirit of the mother coming back to like fuck shit up.
Yeah.
Because she was so like unfinished business, I guess. I
I
don't know.
definitely thought that the first time. But yes, and then so that's where they are. They have gone into their dad's office.
Yes.
I didn't know. I blanked on the word.
Boudoir.
And they're looking on his computer, and he's like, "Yep, this girl Grace is from one of his books on like cults." And they basically find out that she was a part of this radical Christian cult. Never really gave a name for it, but that she was the only one who didn't complete
Suicide.
Yes.
As the other ones did complete a mass suicide.
She was the like sole survivor, and she is supposed to bring the teachings to people. That's what was supposed to happen. But of course, like once she was removed and like taken and gotten psychiatric help and stuff from that situation, she supposedly
reintegrated into normal society.
Yeah.
And we see that from this footage that they're looking at, it's little Grace actually filming like the bodies, and we see them on cots, and they have like these purple blankets on them. They look like weighted blankets.
Satin,
yeah. And
they gave
she's
like
removing
stole of a Catholic priest.
Yeah.
But in blanket form.
I see that. And she's removing them, and it reveals the faces of the people, and they have a duct tape, just like that silver gray duct tape over their lips, and it says sin. It's kind of like a no hate campaign, but the opposite.
Yeah.
And
then it ends with a real like kind of creepy pan in of her
in the mirror.
Too,
and this is what was giving you sinister, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh wow, yeah.
It definitely was.
I was like, what a callback.
The like theme song for this movie is the
do 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 do. No, I'm just kidding. That's not it.
Oh God, I wrote it down. The Nearer My God to Thee.
Yeah, that little hymn, a hymnal.
Blah, blah. Yeah, and it had played earlier during the mom's funeral as they were releasing the balloons, and then here at the end, like while the recording is happening, we're getting a creepy version of that song as well, which I think we've talked about this before. Any sort of religious or like happy song that then gets used for this purpose makes it so much more unsettling.
Or like a kid's lullaby or something like that.
Because whenever it's supposed to be something that's happy or
associated with something like innocent.
Yeah. And then you put it end to this, it's like
the ookie spookies.
Yeah, it is.
And it's I think it cuts to we're back in the dollhouse, right? We see her shrimp. Her little shrimp.
Yeah,
right?
Dad comes in and catches them.
That's right.
And then
he's like, "What are y'all doing?" And he's like, "We're trying to do homework because my computer died. It's updating."
It
was such a bad lie.
It was.
Yeah.
He clearly like kind of stumbled through it, and it was like, okay, bud. But I don't know. I guess I'd be probably a little lenient on kids then too. But yes, then we see the little sea monkeys in the dollhouse,
and
she brings them with her.
She takes them with her, yeah,
in a little bag. Doesn't ship them in a box.
They're so tiny too in that big old bag. And like that other lady who shipped her fish, from Milo, right?
Yeah, so fucking weird.
And so we have them on their way to go pick up Grace. I think they exchange some words with the dad at this point, maybe, right? They're just kind of, or he's just trying to tell them basically like be nice, essentially. And they go and get Grace. They pick her up. She gets into the vehicle, and it's kind of like that awkward, like she's trying to say hi to them, but they obviously like want nothing to do with her. And Dad then gets a phone call, and he has to like get out of the truck. So it's even more awkward because she's just in there alone with him.
Yeah, exactly. And the way she says hi, I don't know, to me felt creepy.
Yeah.
She was like so like, hi Mia.
Hi
Jaeden.
She's.
I didn't like it. She creeped me out.
From the host of the popular podcast, The Only One in the Room, Stash by Laura Cathcart Robbins is a propulsive and vivid memoir about the journey to sobriety and self-love amidst addiction, privilege, racism, and self-sabotage. Best-selling author Holly Whitaker calls it an irresistibly delicious story, and MacArthur Foundation fellow and best-selling author Keough Lehman says Stash is emotionally riveting. Buy Stash by Laura Cathcart Robbins now, wherever books are sold.
Hey there, homeowners. Is it time to give your yard a complete makeover this summer? Villani Landshapers, a local family-owned business, has been transforming landscapes for more than 20 years. Villani Landshapers specializes in landscape design build, retaining walls, outdoor living spaces, and so much more. Request your free consultation today and check out their gallery of residential work at villani-landshapers.com.
As if the McCrispy couldn't get any better, Bacon and Ranch just entered the chat. The Bacon Ranch McCrispy, available at participating McDonald's for a limited time. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
So she's really creepy, and I was now like I feel like this is really the first time we kind of really get to see her face.
Yeah, because we didn't at all before, really, because she was always in like a shadow or the back of her head.
Yeah, moving
or
from
just
out of view, or a little version of her. Yeah, for sure. She was in Goodnight Mommy as well.
Gotcha.
And the original with them. And then she was in The Devil All the Time, which has huge cast: Bill Skarsgård, Tom Holland, Harry Melling, Robert Pattinson. Like, it's a
Taylor
great
Swift
movie.
Was that T Swizzle?
No, that's Haley Bennett.
Don't tell me if you pull that over here. That does not look like Taylor Swift.
Her face is a little too rounded. Taylor's got a very long face.
That chin.
Mia
Wasikosha?
Jason Clarke. Huge cast.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and so we also are introduced. Sebi.
Yeah.
We're also introduced to Grady, which
puppy.
is her doggo, which I really put here. I'm like, well, this dog's gonna die.
Yep.
Because we know it's a horror movie, so every dog dies in a horror movie.
I put Grady is the puppy's name. Pretty sure Grady dies.
I wish his name was Gravy, not Grady, because I keep hearing Gravy.
Gravy. Oh,
Gravy.
That's his new name. Gravy.
Gravy the Grady.
She gets in the car with Gravy. Gravy's a good doggy while they're driving.
He's so cute. I used to have a dog like that, and then it died.
Oh, just like Gravy.
Well, my dad left it chained, and when we came back home from church, it had suffocated itself, as it unalived itself, unfortunately.
A very common thing with leaving. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Sad.
I'm so sorry.
Anyways, while they were driving in the car, the dad was grabbing her leg, and I was like, maybe we refrain from PDA in front of the kids with the woman that I'm sure they
they associate with the cause of their mother's
death. Yeah.
Word. Yeah. And so, but no, they don't. And so, at that point, that's whenever, it's the lodge is in the middle of the woods, so it takes like a little drive to get there. It's obviously snowing. It's all snowy.
They stop at a little corner store, so we
that's
see
right.
that something is close
by, but it's not
by.
close enough to walk to.
It's still miles away.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only thing around for miles.
Yeah.
Which is like, of course.
Yeah,
because why wouldn't it be in the middle of nowhere?
Well, because that's,
exactly.
It's a scary movie. And it's a lodge.
We wouldn't have a horror film.
Well, I even wrote that. I was like, wow, this lodge is in the middle of the woods. And I'm like, duh, it's a lodge. Where else would a lodge be? But yeah, we have them getting settled, I would say. Grace is putting up
She's pulling her stairs up pulling her fucking suitcase up the stairs.
And just letting it click, clack, and bang the whole way. I was like, lift it
bad
up.
for the stairs. Just pick your suitcase up. It made me so mad.
Because I would lift it up. It's not even the way that I wouldn't even think of the stairs. It's just that noise is so like grating that I would just pick it up. Yeah. And it seems like it would be easier than having to be like every 2 seconds hitting a step.
Exactly.
But we have her putting up her stuff. She has some presents that she's tucking away that I'm assuming are for the children, for Richard, which is the dad. We hadn't said his name yet. And then she's got clothes, and we also see that she's got a bag full of medications.
Yes.
A little Ziploc bag.
And then, of course, as she's unpacking, she does find a picture of
the mom and Richard right next to the bed, and she like
puts it down right away. She puts it into the door.
Oh, that's right.
She's like, no.
You're going away. You're dead. This is my man.
Honestly, her reactions and stuff were a little bit immature. And like, I understand that, that is the person you're with, that's their ex-wife, but it's also their like ex-wife who
is the mother to the children.
Yeah, mother to their children. So the fact that like there's still remnants of her around, and the fact that she has passed in a horrific, untimely manner, I feel like and now, of course, the kids, like with the video, they're like, "You want to see what we made Dad for Christmas?" Like,
well, yeah, but also
they were being mean, or it was intentional. But like her just getting up and kind of storming off was like, girl, you have to understand that these kids are obviously going to lean more towards their mother, and again, like you can't react that way. Just like try and act,
and when we
lovingly, like loving memory of her.
I think
I don't know.
That would make sense to maybe a more sane person, or maybe someone who was more emotional stable, but maybe it was just a trigger for her too much. And also,
I do think she was emotionally,
and we also have to realize too that
stunted.
this because of the cult thing as well, and pretty fucked up about that. And nobody's been there, I'm sure, since before they were all, since any of it had happened, obviously.
Oh, yeah, that seemed to have been the first time they went back.
It's been like 3 or 4 years-ish, you know what I mean? That's what it gives. And so, but I agree. I mean, she could have maybe put it instead. Well, I mean, it was also in the bedroom where her and Richard are.
Yeah.
So I feel
I don't think I would want the picture like
move it into the dining room.
Somewhere else where like maybe the kids can see it.
Or into their bedroom.
Yeah.
That would make perfect sense.
Maybe not. I don't know if I'd like just put it right in the drawer. I would probably
disrespectful,
still be.
You feel like
I would be uncomfortable by that as well.
Maybe
if it was just an ex.
Maybe she was also like the other woman. Maybe she has no regard for the mom at all. She might have stolen her man. So maybe there was just never any regard.
I feel like she probably was.
But also the dad seems like a douche, and it seems like if this was someone that he was working with, also he crossed the line. Maybe it was grooming in a way, or maybe it was something else.
Yeah.
Because it seems also like he was.
Yeah. Let's blame it all on him.
Yeah. I mean, because she is a part of his book, and he was obviously probably interviewing her and like formed a connection of business with her, but then that turned into something else. So, I mean, who knows? It's all the dad's fault.
It is.
And he gets what is getting to him.
That's right.
But anyways.
I remember that moment shocked me so much. I mean, I saw it coming, but I was also
I honestly, I thought it wasn't going to happen because that first, and then I was like, oh, well, okay, it's empty. But then I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I guess that's just how guns work. I don't know.
I don't really know either.
I don't know what a gun is.
Me neither.
I've never like had one here. Yeah. Just fake ones, but not like a real one.
I spin rifles for color guard.
Oh.
But anyways,
but those are fake, right?
Yes. Yeah. They're wooden.
Yeah, exactly.
Solid wood.
Yeah.
They sit down to eat, and the family's still there. Dad's
real
still there.
rifles, just like.
Well, that's what actual ROTC. I mean, I think they're still fake.
Like they couldn't be.
real. They're still really heavy. I
but
mean,
that's
they're
like
definitely
Chucky. And I think that's on Chucky 3, right?
No, I don't know.
Chucky 3, he goes to, it's about a military school, and he puts real bullets in like the fake rifles when they're like outside doing stuff. Yes. And then, pew, 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 pew. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah. You have to watch it. We'll have to cover it.
Okay, yes, we will. But they're sitting down to eat, and the little girl, Mia, prays. And clearly,
it's kind of weird for Grace.
Little emotional response from Grace. Yeah. A little bit triggered.
You can just tell that it's, very triggering, very that.
And then Mother Mary's just like looming over them. Very intense.
And all this like religious iconography is really, you can tell, getting under her skin.
Yeah.
Or if not, maybe just like taking her back to a place that she hasn't been in a long time, or she's tried to forget, repress.
You know what another thing I thought was?
What?
That the dad was in on it.
Oh.
And that he helped this. And it was like a psychological experiment.
That would have been really fucked up. What if he was?
Yeah.
Because we still wouldn't know. Because
and he just wanted to see how much it took to break someone and put them back into a state of psychosis.
The Lodge 2. Yeah. Back in action.
Back in action. Dad didn't actually die.
I think that's die. The Nun. I mean, what's that? Sister Act 2? Back in action. But yeah, we have Sister Act. The
we
dinner,
just watched The Nun, and it's Whoopi Goldberg.
I would watch it. I'd honestly watch it. And so the dinner is pretty quiet, I would say. It's a little weird, a little awkward. And then we have Grace's nose bleeding.
That literally no one comments on.
Nobody comments. I don't think does anybody. They see it, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Mia looks at her and it's like, that's weird. She goes back to eating her mac and cheese or whatever the fuck it is. And then we just flash to the bedroom, and Grace is just staring up at this cross, and then he was like, oh, that was Laura's. Do you want me to take it down?
Yeah.
If it makes you uncomfortable. And she was like, no, it's fine. And then you
can tell it's not fine. And then they start kind of canoodling, kissing, making out, start giggling and laughing. Meanwhile,
and she's not being quiet with her laughs.
They're both,
and then he was like,
they're not, both of them are not.
Bleed again. And I was like, does laughing cause your nose to bleed? I don't know.
But
just
the kids are obviously like in their bedroom and they can hear everything.
Yeah. They could really
because they're trying to like use the pillows to cover their ears and stuff.
I was thinking, Aiden, break out those headphones you were wearing like in the car and stuff.
Them Beats by Dr. Dre.
Yeah. And you block out that sound.
And so that's whenever I guess we pan to the dog in the living room, and he has his little doggy bed that we saw earlier that Richard had got for him, and he hears like a creak in the house, and like there's like a little noise, like eerie noise that follows it, and the dog just kind of like Arf!
And he kind of growls, and then we see someone on the stairs, but we can't tell who it is. You just see like the back of somebody going up the stairs.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Oh yeah, there's a figure that moves on the stairs.
I didn't even see that. Okay, I'll have to rewatch it.
I thought it was a ghost the first time. I think it's Aiden.
Oh. No, yeah, that makes sense.
I think it's Aiden.
Doing stuff. That's right, probably. That makes sense. Yeah, I didn't even notice that. But the next day we have them ice skating.
And she cannot ice skate?
She cannot ice skate. No, she's inside. She goes outside. She's joining them. That's whenever Dad is like, hey, you guys go help freaking Grace. And then they like go up to her, but they're like, that's our mom's hat, because she had put on her mom's toboggan.
Yeah.
And they go and like take it from her, and she's like, I'm sorry, here you go.
And then they just like
walk off.
And then Dad comes over. I thought that part that also made me laugh too, because I was like, damn, these little kids are savage.
They are. And
he
then
was
she's
like, help her out, like give her a hand. And then they're like, that's our mom's hat. And then she rips it off like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And they just yank it from her.
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I would also probably be upset if someone wore my mom's hat. And also, I'm like, girl, what did you think? It was a hat, a woman's hat you found in the house.
I mean, yeah. But those are kind of like one size fit all ish, right?
Yeah.
So it could have been anybody's, but also maybe don't put on things that aren't yours. Maybe let's do that. Yeah. Let's stick by that rule.
I like that rule.
And so that's whenever the dad is, trying to make her like, it's okay. And she's like, I didn't know. And she is, then we pan to Miss Mia. She's ice skating, and she gets to like a fishing hole, and her doll, that is her mom, falls into the hole.
There like making her mom snowboard.
That's right.
Is what it was. And then, mom
it goes into the hole. And that's whenever she's like, my doll. And so Grace is trying to like stop Mia, and she's like, stop it. stop it. You know, it's a fishing hole. Be careful. And she says, here, let me go grab her. And she's almost getting her. And she literally falls through the ice into the freaking water.
Ugh, so scary.
So cold. Yeah.
And the whole time, Mia's like, my doll.
Yeah, she doesn't even care about Grace
Mia
at all.
does not give two fucks about Grace.
Not
she
at
does
all.
not care. I was like, oh my God.
It's very like crazy because then the dad, of course, comes running over. He tries to pull her out. The ice just keeps breaking and breaking. And they finally get her out.
Thankfully.
And she does grab the doll and she gives it back to Mia. And there's no like thank you or
I think Mia actually grabs it from the water.
Oh, does she?
I think she kind of pulls it up with her, but then it's like frozen, and her hands can't really grip onto it because she's like going into hypothermic shock. I'm sure. And then Grace or Mia kind of grabs it from the bank.
And yeah, that's Grace almost died.
Yeah.
And obviously the kids don't care. The dad is just like, dang, trying to save her. And I think at this point, what else happens?
We flash back to now Grace is in front of the fireplace and we're seeing that, you know, he's bringing her some like really hot tea or
I
hot
think
chocolate
before
or
this
something.
too, I'm sorry, my notes. Does the doll change faces? Did you notice that? I think at certain points I saw it have like different emotions on its face.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I definitely noticed a change in clothes because the doll was wearing the same hat that she ended up wearing.
Gotcha. The red hat.
The little red hat with the palm. And so it was like her mom's snow outfit. So we definitely had different mom outfits. I hadn't
swear
noticed.
the face was changing.
I'm sure it did. I want to go back and look now. I'm intrigued.
But you're right. She's in front of the fire.
And then Dad's basically, Richard's calling and saying like, hey, I don't think I can come back to the city tonight. It's kind of an emergency. Like, I think I really need to stay here.
But she's like,
I guess she got up and then was taking
her
pills.
meds. Yeah.
Yes. And then she hides the pills from the dad.
She does.
And he was like, maybe I shouldn't leave you here with the kids kind of thing.
And she's like, no, it's only a couple days. I can handle a couple days. You need to go to work. And then that's whenever, for whatever fucking reason, and I have no clue why he would do this, he pulls out a box and gives her a gun.
I was like, why is this going to help? And then also this was a heirloom from Laura's family. This was Laura's dad's gun, which is like, that's weird. And at this point, I was still thinking like it could be
giving
angry doll,
giving her
ghost
a gun.
Yeah, no, I was like, she's not mentally stable.
Yeah, that was. And then he takes her outside.
I can't understand giving a gun to anyone.
Oh, and then especially when he takes her outside because he's thinking, I need to teach her. She needs to practice because she doesn't know how to use this gun. And she takes that gun.
He asks her, like, do you know how to use gun? And she was like,
yeah.
And then it just flashes to them outside.
And then she literally takes that gun from him and is like a pro.
Yeah. She's apparently a really good shot. She was just like, oh, bam, 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 bam.
And
that's how guns sound.
Exactly. Yeah. And so,
Josh recorded. We have our own button.
Should I do it again?
Yeah. Do it next to the mic.
I love it. Okay. And so anyways, they are essentially dad's leaving. He's going to go. He's just like, you know what, kids, it was nice. I got to go back to work. We'll see you in 2 days, which is supposed to be Christmas.
Exactly. And he's like, the lady at the gas station, like has their number, you know, if you need to call or anything goes wrong, like
go there.
Yeah. You can call them, which is also like, okay,
how would he have expected them to get there?
Away, yeah.
And without a vehicle.
I'm guessing you call the gas station lady and then she comes to them.
But yeah, but
at that point, yeah.
But also he had to have
serious injury had happened. They're dead.
Also, it's 2018. Weather, like your phone alerts you, like it's gonna blizzard for the next 2 days because obviously that snowstorm was coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all had iPhones.
Yeah.
Like
literally each one of them had iPhones. Even the kids. And so that's whenever dad's gone, we have Grace back inside and she decides that she's going to start decorating the house for Christmas.
None of the kids want to help.
They do not.
Like, no.
She's just like, well, if y'all want to help, I'm here. And she basically does it all by herself. You can tell that she's trying.
She is trying. She definitely is. And they are giving her nothing to go off
They
of.
aren't. No. And she even tries to talk to Mia, right? While she's like by the window and she's looking at her shrimpies because she's talking about like, you know,
she says, what do you want for Christmas? And
she's
she
like
says,
a dog.
I want a dog.
And then she's like, you know, I used to, what? Not have
she
a dog?
said, basically saying like, they didn't presents weren't like, she said I had to like buy my own present for myself. Basically, I had to buy.
Because obviously she was in a cult. They didn't do that shit.
Yeah, and she said like they didn't mention there's no presents. Like my dad was very by the Bible, and they didn't mention presents in the Bible. And I was like, didn't they bring Jesus presents?
3 presents, yeah.
Like, wasn't that the whole frankincense and myrrh?
And that's why we give each other presents.
Yeah. And
give me more presents so you can be more Christian-like.
Yeah.
Anyways.
You want to be closer to God?
Give me presents. Thank you. And so anyways, we have them talking more. She's kind of asking her, like, what's her favorite breed of dog and, like, what kind of dog she likes. And she's like, a bulldog. And she's like, oh, bulldogs are cute.
They are cute.
They breathe like this. Yeah. And so Mia is
Bulldogs
then
sleep
like,
for like 20 of the 25 hours of the day.
I want to be a bulldog.
Me too.
And so, except for all the health issues, my bad. Oh, for babies, but they're so cute.
Their little eyeballs, their little
winkles,
too big for their little skulls.
Their rolls.
Yeah, you gotta clean their folds.
And so, say folds again.
Folds.
I like the way you say it.
Folds.
And so that's whenever we cut to...
We see a little weird scar on her hand.
We
do.
Yeah, it's like a little cross.
It's like she's been crucified.
Oh.
It's on the inside.
Yeah.
Of her hand, not the out. Well, I guess that's how you're hung up, right?
Yeah.
Jesus,
but those would be holes.
Turned in.
Nails. This is like a cross. Like someone scratched a cross into her.
Yeah, true.
Cut. Ironed? What's that thing called? Branded. Almost, but it's like a cut. But anyways, we do have nice then scar. Mia being like, do you want to see what we made for dad for a Christmas present? And she gets a little DVD. She puts it in the DVD player. And it is essentially a video of them last Thanksgiving
with their mom.
And the mom is like saying all these like, oh, we have we did great, we have perfect kids, this and that, and we did a good job. And that's whenever it's obviously too much for Grace because she has to just walk away.
Yeah. I was like, what?
She walks off like the mom walked off from the dad earlier.
Yeah, that's true. She just gets up and
yeets out the room. Yeah. Back the deuce up.
So this is another part where I feel like the plant room was significant. It ended up not being.
The plant room.
Grace goes and sits several times in this room that has these plants that are all hanging. It was like a sunroom, but there are plants like hanging from the ceiling, and it's in the dollhouse as well. And I remember there being more significance to it, or just, I think it was all of a sudden the plants died. So like the plants were like alive and very lush.
Yeah.
This first time she goes to sit in it, and each time she sits in it, the plants are like dying. Kind of rapidly decaying. And I believe that still happened. Or maybe I made that up.
No, it might have happened. I don't remember. I might have been writing notes, but I don't remember that.
It could have just been that it was dark.
That could have been also. Because I also didn't see that figure.
Yeah.
That was on the stairs.
That was something that I thought was much more like prominent the first time I watched it. And this time I didn't, maybe because I knew what was happening. I wasn't sitting there trying to, like, because the first time I watched this, I was going like 18 different ways.
Gotcha.
And I was like, what? This is happening. This is happening. This plant room, it's some sort of like time portal. And they're like, in this, I don't know. I thought so many things.
I can see. I mean, because you are thinking in the movie, like, what's going on. It's one of those type of movies. And so we then have her trying to talk to Jaeden, I believe, at that point. And
Jaeden will not come out. He's like, no,
he's not coming out of his room, because I think she's trying to like say like, you know, I made food. If you want food, if you get hungry, come out. And at that point, we do notice that maybe this is I'm like, religious things bother Grace.
Yeah, she takes the Mary painting down.
That's right, and she puts it behind the thing
because she's sitting there eating food by herself, and she's like staring at it at first, and you know, we're hearing little whispers.
You can tell she's bothered by
every
it.
time she looks at like, and it's one of the like the cross or the Mother Mary painting.
We hear the cult like leader whispering, right?
Yeah, I believe Aaron. So. We're starting to get little hints of him, and then she goes and she turns, you know, sits with her back to it, but the whispering's still continuing. So she just like gets up, takes it down. She's like, no. And then we get a very nice harsh cut to a shower scene,
which she walks out of the shower and we see boobies.
Yep, and I'm sorry, but who the fuck only wraps their waist and not their boobs? I've never
a woman do that.
No, I don't know. I never want to just like walk around
with your boobies out like that, flapping the flapjacks.
Not.
I mean, that's like what men do, you know, because we don't have boobs. But most girls I know would like, or in movies, you tie it up around that. I don't know.
And that is what I do.
But it's also a scary movie, and they probably wanted some titties.
Yeah. She did have a real fit body.
She had a nice rack.
Yeah.
Is that what they say?
Cute little boobs. That is, I think.
Is that offensive?
If someone
Got
started
a nice rack.
conversation like that with me, I would probably kick them or punch them in the throat.
Yeah.
I would be like, who the fuck are you? Please go away.
She had some boobs.
She did.
And those boobs were quite lovely.
5 boobs from us.
5 boobs. 5 boobs. And so that's whenever we do notice that there is mom written on like in the
heart.
steam in the mirror. And then she does notice that there's someone watching her.
Yep. She wipes it away and we see a kid in the reflection.
I
couldn't
couldn't
tell who it was.
But apparently I'm sure it was Jaeden.
Yeah.
Who knows? I thought it was Mia, to be honest.
I also thought it was Mia.
Yeah. For some reason thought it was Mia. Because felt more like, I didn't think of like Jaeden being like
a creep.
I maybe felt more like Mia being like curious young woman looking at an older woman's body.
Yeah.
Not creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember doing that.
Yeah. You'd be like, oh, that's what I'm going to look like.
Yeah. Or I think I remember asking my mom, like, what are those?
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What? I don't have that.
Oh God.
Like,
No, I remember one time, I mean, my mom kind of, I don't want to say like it's like a no shame thing type of thing, but like my mom is like that type of mom, like also too. She was like, I saw you naked. I saw your pee-pee like when you were a baby. Like it doesn't matter if you like whatever. I seen it all. And so same
wiped
thing.
your ass for so many years.
Literally. And so the same thing is like too. Like one time I remember I walked into their bedroom. I should have knocked, but I guess she was coming out the shower and I saw it all. And I was like, oh my God. And I was really young. And she was like, well, you came out of it. Like whatever, you know.
You've seen this up close and personal.
Yeah. And so,
Ew.
yeah, no.
Babies are weird.
And so we have them, I guess it essentially goes to then Grace going to their bedrooms, right? To check in on them.
Checking on them.
They're just playing asleep.
Yeah.
Because we do see Jaeden, right? He's like, and then closes his eyes, right? And then she blows out the candles in their room.
And then she's going down the stairs and we see this weird mom shrine in the stairwell. Like on that little shelf that's at it's like a stairwell that goes down and then turns. It has more
There's
stairs.
a little cutout in there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'd put a shelf there too. But this was the doll was on it. There were like candles all lit around it. Her beanie was up there. It was very like, okay,
cryptic.
This is intentional.
Yeah.
And not like a normal.
No, yeah, and it had just been done. Obviously, someone had to light those candles.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we do see that the dog once again starts hearing some shit throughout the night. And at that point, I'm still thinking like this is supernatural.
Yeah. Because then we're hearing that like out of tune piano playing. And I assume it was Grace, right?
I don't think
you only get the back part of that person, so I don't even really know what happened in that scene.
I don't know.
I
honestly, I left that up to like Fever Dream because we do have her waking up on the floor.
Yeah.
At that point. And then we see that.
And when she checks on the kids, she even has a flashback there. We get the purple
thing that was over the people,
that purple
the
blanket shroud over one of the kids. And then she just wakes up on the floor in her room. And she looks and the presents are missing from their hiding spot that she had put in that little drawer and like, you know, meticulously put her sweater over it to hide it.
And so she does go check her suitcase and we see that it's back in there, but with the doll as well. The mother doll.
Oh, this little Barbie doll's running around.
It's the elf on the shelf.
I loved it. Putting everything back.
And so we have
today I saw this picture. This is such a like white person meme that I'm about to say. They said, you've heard of elf on a shelf, but have you heard of, and it was a dolly on a pile of tamales.
A dolly on a pile of tamale?
Dolly on a tamale.
Oh, that is so funny.
It's so dumb. It's the dumbest thing I've ever said in my life.
No. Have you heard of dolly on a tamale? I'm going to do that.
I love it.
And so we have Mia saying she's looking for her doll. She's asking Grace, has she seen her doll? Grace kind of pretends like she doesn't know where the doll is.
And she frames Grady.
She's like, oh my God, it looks like Grady thought it was a toy. And then Mia, because obviously they fucked with her. But at this point, and this is where I did suspect, I'm like, you know what if the kids moved it and now they gaslit her and they're like, well, now we know you're being a lying ass bitch because we put it there.
I know.
I know where it was. Yeah. But she gives it back to Mia. Mia even looks at her like a little like shady and weird.
I don't think Grady would do that.
Yeah. And so then we have Grace confronting Jaeden because she's like, hey, we need to talk. Like, if we have a problem, like, I need you to square up. I need you to get it out because we need to, like, we are stuck. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean stuck. We are in a house together.
The way she backpedaled was like, girl, just you're taking yourself
bad.
a deeper hole.
Yeah.
Like, we got to stop.
And then she was just like, we need to figure this out. And he just kind of like.
Because at this point, too, she had tried to call the dad and they can't get a hold of him. Yeah. She can't get a hold of him.
And she kind of shrugged it off. And at this point, we do have them cutting to nighttime. She's watching a movie with Mia.
But wait, she says, so you don't want to talk to me, but you can watch me in the shower.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's awkward.
Yeah.
Why did we talk about that? Why would we
bring that up?
I was like,
yeah, let's not throw accusations when you were trying to get someone to like open up to us.
Yeah. I was like, not a healthy way of making
But she's also like irrational.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
She's not stable.
No.
And so we do have her watching a movie with little Mia. They're
watching The Thing.
The Thing, yes. We do have
which was very fitting.
It was, because their environment as well. And The Thing, yeah. And so we do have
not that this was a like
body snatcher type of situation.
Alien monster,
yeah.
But they were also secluded and stranded in this lodge and had to go look.
I like that noise. Sound. I know. And so we do have Jaeden coming up to her and he offers her, I guess, a cup of cocoa that he made for her. And she's like, is this for me? And he's like, yeah, and gives her a little smile. And then we have Miss Mia. She's like coughing. She's like, I'm cold. Yeah. Grace checks for her temperature. She says she feels fine. And then that's whenever Jaeden asked her, would you like me to go get the gas heater? And she's like, yes. So he does. He gets the gas heater. He puts it there in the middle of them.
Smirk on his face as he turns away too.
And so at this
very
point,
staged.
Yes, it does. But we do have Grace asking them like, is that thing safe to be on? And he is like, yeah, it's fine. It's okay. And then cut to them waking up. She, I believe, is on the floor again. Or no, she wakes up outside.
Yeah, because at some point the Mother Mary like picture fell over. They're watching Jack
Frost. It's a dream. That's right. Yeah. My bad.
And then she wakes up. She wakes up outside in the snow, and it is a dream.
It's a dream. It's
because
a fever dream.
We see Mom Doll under the ice,
and then she falls through the ice, and then she's
getting pulled deeper and deeper by the cult leader,
which is such a like metaphorical kind of like getting pulled deep back into the place that she used to be.
She's getting pulled into the darkest parts of her
sunken place.
The sunken place.
Yeah, and so
didn't we just watch something?
Hello, Darling.
Hello, Darling. That's right. I was I feel like you and I watched a movie
that
recently.
was just like that.
Yeah.
And so we have and I was even at this one. I'm like, oh, this is a bad dream. She wakes up and the power is out.
Yep.
The heater's out. The power's out. It's freezing. The phone is dead.
And it
did not charge.
Down outside.
Yeah, it is like ice storm outside.
Pipes frozen completely. Like,
no water.
Yeah.
And then everything is missing as well.
And Mother Mary's hanging up again.
Yeah. Everything that should be the way it was not is, and vice versa.
There's not a single ounce of food in that fridge. It is barren.
Nothing. Yeah.
And all of her drawers are empty.
Her medication, everything's gone.
Everything's gone.
Yeah. And so then she starts accusing the kids of like, where did y'all put this stuff? Where is everything? And they're like, we didn't move anything. We haven't done anything.
And all of their stuff was gone as well.
Yeah.
So they really leaned into it. Like, their stuff, Jaden's phone was also dead. She was like, check your phone. His phone was dead. They're all dead. And then she's saying like, where did you put my pills? And she's basically accusing him like, are you saying like I took my fucking pills? And he's like, what? Like, what do you want me to say when we hear you walking in the house all night long?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like,
they're gaslighting her already.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, really bad.
And they're really good.
Really good at it because at this point you're not you're
I was
falling
still
for
on
it.
their side.
Mm-hmm. And because there's no way to talk about it without saying like it's all the kids.
It's the kids.
It's the fucking kids. But anyways,
talk about a child murder movie.
Yeah, the generator won't work. Well, that's
Except for they're not even murderers.
And Aiden's just pretending that it won't work because she never actually goes to check it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's whenever they start talking. He's like, "There's no town close enough." She wants to go, like, try to go, get help, but he's like, "We won't
Grady's
make it."
Missing at this point too.
Grady is missing.
They've gone looking outside for him. I'm like, how the fuck are you supposed to find a white dog in the snow?
Literally. Oh God.
So hard.
And then that's whenever we see them trying to eat cold beans.
Beans and crackers.
From the can, yeah. And then we have Mia going up, leaving the table, obviously strategic. we have Jaeden then saying to Grace, hey, I didn't want to say this while Mia was here, but I had a really bad dream. And I dreamt that we died of suffocation from the gas heater.
Yeah, that it started smoking.
And he starts laying in.
Suffocated.
He laid in like this notion in her mind, kind of planting the seed.
Mm-hmm.
And
at that point too, I was like, well, fuck, they could all possibly already be dead.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
And then especially once the clock started saying January 9th.
Yeah.
It was like, whoa, wait, fuck. They were only supposed to be here till Christmas.
Yeah.
Like this was like 3 days before Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how the fuck did we get to January 9th?
And so you're like thinking like something's not adding up.
Way off from December 22nd.
For sure. And so she even fixes it because she's like, let me move this back to December 22nd, which we think it's supposed to be. And then that's whenever we do have her leaving dog food outside to try to like hopefully get gravy back. And then we have her hearing Mia talking to someone. She goes upstairs and Mia's on the room on the phone. And at this point, Mia's like, I was just pretending, because that's whenever
I just really miss my dad.
Grace was taking the phone away, and it does seem to be dead.
Grace flipped out on her. Yeah, I mean, she was hitting all the buttons and it was still
it's not
black.
turning on. Yeah.
So I'm like, I wonder if she just immediately like powered it off. But
took a battery out. I don't know. You can't do that.
An iPhone.
I don't know.
Yeah. And iPhones do not power off quickly unless it perfectly died at that same time.
Unless she did just happen to like, it was dead and that was just her pretending and not her actually talking to the dad, even though we do know that she says later, I was talking to dad too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could have been in that moment. Yes. Or I wonder if she had an opposite. I wonder if she also had Aiden's phone.
Maybe.
And
could
then gave her Aiden's phone. And hid her own phone.
That makes sense.
I would not put that above them.
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like they're
seem
perfectly capable of
calculated.
that. Yeah, they're clearly smart kids.
Yeah. And so they do end up, she kind of leaves Mia because she's like, okay, well, whatever. She starts showering again. And that's whenever we see she comes out and we do have another fucking message in the mirror and it says repent.
Repent.
And she starts hearing more and more of those voices from the cult leader, Aaron. And we see that the shrimp are dead, the sea monkeys, because it's so
Poor
cold.
Sea monkeys.
Mia comes to Grace, and that's whenever did she say she heard a voice or something like that?
Mia comes to her saying she heard a voice, and then all of a sudden the doors like start creaking and banging from behind them, and we're hearing the wind howling and stuff. The soundtrack and lack thereof in this movie was also very good. I liked it.
They knew when to bring in noise and when not.
Yeah. And then just this sound of the wind, because, oh God, the wind like kind of will howl here, but have you ever been?
Yeah, we're here howling wind. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the most unsettling thing. Like I remember in North Carolina during, we had a few blizzards and stuff that would come through. And I just remember being at daycare once and just hearing this. It sounded like wailing. It sounded like women crying. Oh, basically. Wow. It was like so high pitched and it was creepy.
Forever,
I remember as a 5-year-old being like
traumatized.
Yeah, scared. I was like, what
Caitlin's
is
scared
that?
of the wind.
I am. That's honestly probably the scariest thing.
Now I know what to play in your sleep to gaslight you. And so we have yes, don't worry, I would never do that.
Thank you.
And so we have them then like going to investigate. And that's whenever we do see that there's a bunch of snow angels out in the fucking yard.
It was just the window that was open. She goes to close it and there was like little lines of snow, like
so many,
probably like 50 at least. And they were perfectly lined up like a little box of Peeps or something.
And at this point,
I don't know why that was my analogy.
That I love that. I love Peeps.
they I feel like, don't they have Peep Angels or something?
I've never seen a Peep Angel, but I love Peeps. I can only hit like 3 of them and then I'm done. But Peeps, man.
I do. They look real cute.
They're very cute.
Very aesthetic.
I like the texture of like when you touch them and it's like that glittery part and then it's soft,
just
like a marshmallow.
It is marshmallow.
And so
it's actually softer than a marshmallow, though.
Right?
The inside's fluffier. It's like a marshmallow cream.
Yeah.
Mixed with the marshmallow.
Because it's like chewy.
Yeah.
But anyways, we do have
the show brought to you by Peeps.
Brought to you by Peeps. Why does she have a gun? I don't know why I have that in my notes next, but she has the gun. Right?
Did
I skip it? But I'm like, why does she have a gun? She's seeing her old cult leader, and she sees Jaeden with the sin thing over his mouth.
Repent your sins.
Oh, because she's in the bedroom.
Oh, and he's saying, you know how to open the door, which was like, at that point, that's what kind of reminded me of the, like, this is during the mother's funeral, during Laura's funeral. This is me. I'm exactly me. But the priest or whatever was saying, you know, this death is but a door to something new. And so when he was saying, you know how to open the door, it felt like a very good callback to that.
And then we have her, well, like she's over Jaeden. She's like got the gun. He wakes up. He's so like
creepy,
freaking out.
And we're getting the organ version, like the organ. There's an organ somewhere in the house, I guess. And because Aaron shows up, the cult leader's like next to her and he's like, God's waiting.
Yeah.
And it's creepy. And we hear the nearer my God to thee, now in an organ version, terrifying.
And Mia is then trying to help like Jaeden or help. She gets caught in the middle in between. And then somehow we have Grace pistol whipping Mia as she knocks her back.
It was because she was like not there. It was like eyes were open, but no one was home.
Someone else was driving the ship. Like it wasn't Grace at all.
And then once
she comes out of the trance.
And she had woken up and then I'm sure jumped a bit, and that was when she hit Mia.
Yeah, that's right.
Accident.
That's right.
That clearly wasn't intentional. But it was so creepy. And I mean, of course, you know, she's unmedicated and I mean,
she needs her meds. And at this point, she can tell in her body, like, she's like, I need my meds. So at this point, she's telling the kids that she's going to leave them. She is going to go to the closest place, whatever gas station, and try to get some help because she needs her meds. And
she takes out across the lake.
Yeah, I know she does. I know.
Why not
go down the road where the car came from?
You came from.
Yeah, it makes no sense. And also I was thinking like this woman, she doesn't know where she's going.
No,
like, because she doesn't live there. She doesn't. Yeah. So
she's just going. Gosh.
And to the white snow, that all looks the same. Over the lake that she had already fallen through.
It was just a barren like wasteland. It was just nothing for miles except for there was
and at this point the kids were telling her like, Grace, don't go, like stay, please don't go. And
they're
I don't know
starting to feel a little bit of remorse. I
think at this point they're like, oh wait, this is getting a little serious.
Yeah,
but she does.
At this point I was like, how is there that much of nothing?
Yeah,
like I don't understand.
Well, it's in the middle of nowhere. And so she does go out there. She's walking for quite a while until she does stumble across this like little random house looking thing.
Looks like a cross.
And it does seem like someone was in it. Like
someone was
saw
definitely
shadow.
standing in the window and watching her, but not answering.
But she's also hallucinating, is she not?
Yes, she is.
Okay, cool.
So
that's what I thought.
At this point too, I'm not even sure that house was actually
I don't think it was real at all. No.
I think it might have been the cult house that she was in, and I think it was Aaron.
Maybe. Yeah, probably.
In there. Because otherwise, I don't know. I mean, no. See, I'm not friendly. I'm not that neighbor that wants to get to know everyone. Like, I'm like, if you go right into your house, I will go right into mine. So I probably wouldn't open the door if somebody was like looking like that. Oh, it's like, I'm going to go to hell.
They're cold, Caitlin,
really
and
scary.
She looked like she needs help, Caitlin.
What can I do for you?
To each their own. I understand, and that's your prerogative.
What if she was a murderer? And they were trying to gaslight me to let her in.
I would have let someone in, but that's just it.
I trust no one.
Yeah, and you know what? That serves you well, right? Yeah.
I actually don't know what I'd do in that situation.
Okay.
I would maybe let her in, but she did look really scary. And then she was just sitting there like screaming.
I see your point.
And I was like, ugh.
But yeah, and so it's all hallucination because then we end up seeing that she's essentially walked around in a circle because she ends up back at the house.
She ends up back at the house and she seems surprised.
Yeah, she does.
Which I'm confused about because she follows
the footsteps.
Her
own footsteps. Yeah.
She goes
I don't know what she was thinking.
With them.
But I don't think she's thinking that much at all. I mean, she's also like delirious.
Oh,
she's like out in the cold. And stuff. She's losing her mind. She gets back to the home. And that's whenever we like, I think at some point Jaeden brings up like a frame of themselves.
So once she gets back, like by that front door where she had put like Grady's food bowl or whatever, she like her nose starts bleeding and stuff, and then she finds things buried in the snow. She finds some flowers, some candles, which were the candles that we saw Jaeden pack at the beginning. And then we also saw him pack a picture frame.
I didn't even notice that.
I thought it was a picture of his mom that he was. I was just like, how weird that he's packing. I was like, a teenage boy is packing like some scented candles. And
they planned all this from the get.
They did. I mean, they had every intention of doing this.
And it's a picture of the kids, and it says "in love and memory."
Yep, and it has a photo of both of them. And Jaeden brings it to her, and he's saying like, "What is this?" And she's like, "I don't know. Like, you tell me." And he was saying like,
"What if we're dead?
What if we died? What if this is this is purgatory?"
Yeah.
And at that point, I was like, "Fuck."
Yeah, and me too. I'm like, "OMG, they're dead." I'm like, "They're dead." Shit. Oh my god, what a twist! I thought this was the twist.
I know,
because
like,
then
oh god,
I'm like,
you're going crazy.
Jaden's dream was real.
Yeah,
you know.
And that's actually what happened. And that's why, I mean, because she woke up like disheveled on the floor. That was, they drugged her tea. That is what they did.
Oh, you think so? Oh, duh. That makes sense. Yeah, you're right.
Drugged that drink they gave her. They drugged it. So that way they had time to hide everything and her not wake up at all.
That's true.
They put because at one point they say, should we give her more sleeping pills? Mia says it.
I don't even remember hearing her say that. Gotcha.
I was reading a bunch of stuff afterwards too, and they said they brought up the drugging her tea because I thought he was just trying to be nice, but then I thought back and I was like, oh yeah, Mia did mention giving her sleeping pills, and I was like, I don't think that's what Grace was taking. I think she was taking antipsychotics. Yeah, which those are my sleeping pills because I can't sleep without them.
Yeah.
But
and so we then have her, I think she's hearing more and more of these voices from the cult leader. She's kind of going through it. And then we have her walking onto the kids and they're like praying, and they're praying over this obituary that she pulls up, and it's like has her name, has like it's elaborate. Like it is a whole obituary, has how they died, that they died because of the heater and whatever.
In a tragic accident and stuff. Which that was weird. And also before that, we got flashes of the dollhouse, and in the dollhouse we see someone hanging up in the stairwell.
Yeah.
And then we see Grace for some reason hung the cross back up, which I was like, oh, that's not good. And then so the plants were wilting.
Yeah.
The plants were wilting in the weird plant room.
That's when it's happening now.
And then we're hearing
because it's so fucking cold.
Yeah, exactly. And we're hearing Aaron say like, you are alone. You and you alone are the key.
Yeah.
And you know how to open the door. Like, and then that's when she finds them praying.
That's right.
And Jaeden starts yelling like, you have to repent for your sins. You have to tell the truth kind of thing. And it's like, oh, that's not.
And then he's like, I'm going to prove it to you. We're in purgatory. And so then he goes upstairs, and that's whenever we get the visual of him hanging himself.
Yeah. Grace
because she
calls.
walks up to it. Yeah.
And at that point, I was like, oh, my God. And then his little head comes up and he's like, see, told you we're already dead.
I don't know how they faked that.
At one point, there were like, after that, it looked as if some sort of almost like, like when you go ziplining. One of those little like
a harness.
Yeah. There was a harness like kind of piled to the side. And so I think it was a harness situation.
I'm going to have to watch it because that boy looked hung.
He did.
Hanged. Oh. Oh, God. That boy was hanging himself.
Yes, he did.
That person.
He did.
Oh, God.
Looked as if he had been hanged.
Yes.
And I because the first time I watched it, I was like, what? I was like, oh, my God. And then whenever because then that made me really think, I was like, oh, fuck, they are in purgatory. Like, holy shit, this is happening.
Yeah, because he's like, see, we're not dead.
But then
we're already dead.
Yeah, exactly. And then we're getting
Grace
Aaron speaking over we're getting Aaron speaking again, but then we see the source. And it's a radio, little baby radio sitting in the window sill of their little room upstairs. Yeah. And that was when you also saw the harnesses on the floor.
Gotcha.
It was when it was panning into that.
In the attic?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I at least that's what I assumed they were, because otherwise I don't know what the fuck that pile of stuff was.
That makes sense.
But I assumed it was how he pulled off that hanging act. Anyways, that's playing over the radio. Then we get a shot of them looking outside, and Grace is just walking on her knees, in a little circle outside, like praying, and they're just like,
it's very sad.
We gotta stop this.
Yeah.
This is pretty bad. And
she's going to freeze to death.
Yeah.
basically.
They're like, we have to get her to come in. Like, what's going on? And then we get Grace coming back with
Grady. She found fucking Grady.
She found Grady. And she's just holding his little frozen body.
Yeah.
Because that was her present to herself whenever, you know, she came to terms with what had happened to her, is what she had told Mia. And now Mia, I do not believe Mia. I don't believe it was their intention.
No, to kill Grady. No, not at all. Because Mia then even says, like, I'm so sorry.
I left the door open.
It was my fault. Yeah,
and she was, again,
accident.
acting for her life.
She was bawling.
She was very upset.
And she was so sad that little Gravy was dead.
Yeah.
And so at this point, we have Gravy dead. She's losing her mind. She's like, I'm already dead. She's already thinking that she's dead and in purgatory by this point.
She's sitting on the porch throughout the night. Like, the snow is piling up around her.
She's just outside.
Her hands are exposed. Yeah. And she's holding Grady, and her face is just like getting peeled away by the weather. Oh, her skin was so chapped.
She's exposed to the elements. And at this point, that's when we see the kids going to is it in the basement or somewhere? I don't know, but they open up a thing, and that's when we see that they literally took all the stuff. They hid all the fucking things.
Everything. And they really hid it away. It was in some like hidden room in the basement behind like 4 different sheets of plywood.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And because they were saying, like, we have to convince her.
Looked like a hiding spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to convince her to stop this. Like, we have to get her back inside. This has gone too far. And they come out. They put a blanket around her. They're wearing their coats now.
Yeah.
Which they didn't have. That was why they couldn't walk anywhere, because all of their coats were missing.
Yeah.
And he was saying, like, we were just pretending we didn't die. Like, none of it was real. None of it was real. And that's when you're like,
fucking assholes.
This is dark.
Yeah. Because at this point, she's just like, damn, they broke her. She's just sitting out there.
Because all she says is, we are all sinners on earth. And it's like, ooh, no.
And so they kind of just leave her for a minute. But then I guess we do see her. It segues to her in the living room, right? In front of the fireplace.
The kids were trying to like start the generator, but now they actually cannot
start it because it's been off so long and it's often cold. You can't start that shit like that.
Yeah. And then Mia was like, my phone's actually dead because I was on the phone with Dad too much, kind of thing. And I don't know. I mean, I maybe would have given her sleeping pills every night, started the generator, and like had everything at night going and charging the phones, but not hers. I don't know. That's what I would have done. But also I wouldn't
do any of that.
Yes.
And so that's
yes, then they're back. She's inside.
And she's in front of the fireplace, and she's got these logs, and she's got them on fire, and she's literally pulls them, like, they're not in the fire, they're in front of the fireplace, and she's kneeling on them.
She's on the hot logs and repenting. Yeah,
essentially causing burns to herself in essence of trying to repent for her ways.
She's like retching, and she's saying like that she repents for the harm she has brought to this family.
For
and
her
it's
fornication, for her this, for her that. Yeah.
And it's like, girl, you really didn't. They're the ones fucking with you.
And the kids at this point are just like, what the fuck? And so they lock themselves in the attic at this point because they're like, she's kind of crazy.
Yeah, we can't get to her. And then Dad is at home and he finds the dollhouse with the doll hanging and the 3 dolls like kind of dead downstairs.
And he's trying to call them because he's like, hey, I've been right at this point. He's like, I'm trying to reach y'all. Nobody's,
and I can't get a hold of anyone.
So I'm going to head out there because like what's happening?
Yeah. And we basically find, that they use that dollhouse to stage everything.
Yeah.
It is
how they planned everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's whenever we have then Grace they're in the attic and Mia has to pee, I believe. And she and freaking Ada's just like, just go in the corner.
Just go in the corner. We cannot go down there right now. And she's like, no, it'll be okay.
Yeah.
And Mia runs down real fast and she gets into the bathroom successfully. But as she goes to leave, she like hears something and then Mia screams.
Yeah.
And oh God. And the way that Grace just emerges from the shadows right there. Ooh, with her face looking the way it does. So scary.
Yeah.
And she picks up her little dolly and then she comes up with the gun in hand.
Yeah.
That was the other thing is you could see from the shadows that she had the gun in her hand. And it was like, oh God.
This is going to end bad.
No.
Because the kids are up there. So she's going up there. And that's whenever we have her telling them once again that they have to repent and do this for their sins. And she takes the doll from Mia and she starts burning it.
She's like, you need to trust me. And she was like, you need to free yourself from the idols, and starts like, literally burning
the doll,
the mom doll.
So sad.
Right,
and so Mia obviously is like trying to get it back, and then what's his face, Jaeden, knocks it from her and puts a little, sheet or something over it and stops it from burning. And at this point, we do have Dad is like on his way back. It's like cutting and segueing to him coming back, and he finally gets back to the house, and we do
beep beep.
Yeah,
I was like, well, you need to get up there right now.
Yeah, and so he gets into the house.
Very high pressure moment.
Yeah, it is, and that's whenever we do see that he's calling out to them or something, right?
Yeah, he's kind of like Grace, and then whenever he sees Grady frozen and dead in his dog bed, he's like, Grace, like, what the fuck is going on? And then as he's getting to the top of the stairs, we see Grace just standing there, and she says, Richard, God is punishing us for what we did.
Yeah.
And it's like,
he's like, we didn't do anything. We didn't do anything wrong.
And she's like, we're in purgatory. Like, I'm already dead. Like, I the pain of this life or something, like, I'm already freed from it. I'm freed from that vessel. And
now you need it for yourself too, essentially, because then she tries to shoot herself, but it shoots a blank, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Which was whenever she did that, I was like, oh my God. Cause
imagine them seeing a second suicide.
Like, with their mom.
Yeah. But actually witnessing this one. Yeah.
Yeah. And with how quickly the Laura's death occurred, I was fully expecting
it to happen again.
Yeah.
So it was a good psych out.
I flinched with them.
Yeah.
Because we see Richard like flinching and stuff too. And then she's like, look, it's fine. And then she points the gun at him, and he's like, look, like, I'm real. I'm here, trying to grab her hand, but too little too late.
She shoots him point blank in the head.
Yep.
He's dead.
He is dead. And he goes down the little half stairs, and she just fucking killed. They just witnessed their father get killed too. So it's like, damn, these kids are fucked if they got out of this situation. And the way, like, so obviously the kids run.
Yeah.
And the way that she just sits there saying, Richard, like, it's like, girl.
She's no longer there.
Girl, he dead.
Yeah.
He is dead. Ugh, so scary. And the kids, we can hear them trying to start the car, but failing.
But they can't get away. Yeah. And she goes out there for them. And that's whenever we cut to, I guess,
I was hoping they would run over her or something.
Yeah.
But also, like, I don't know. It was so confusing because, like, I was rooting for the kids at first, and then I was like,
they deserve to die.
Then I was like, ooh, no, they kind of fucked up.
It's all their fault. Their dad is dead because of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then now, I mean, they essentially drove this woman to
mad, crazy, her breaking point,
and to kill all of them. But
because
then at one point I was like,
that they were already dead.
Yeah. I wonder how much of it was Jaeden and Mia went along.
I feel like they're both equally to blame.
Yeah.
They're both equally to blame. There's no 60-40.
I wanted to believe there was some sort of innocence left in them. And I was like, oh, God, I don't want them to die.
And so we do have them panning back to them being in the house, in the lodge, and they're at the dinner table. And we have Dad propped up. We have them there.
Because as soon as you saw the bloody stairs too,
oh yeah, you already
with
know.
the drag away, I was like, oh no. And then I was like, man, she dragged his body down the stairs just like she did her suitcase up it. Just boom, boom.
Good callback.
Clunking around.
And yeah, they're just sitting there around the table, and she comes around the kids and she starts getting the duct tape to put around their mouths. That's
after singing the real creepily "Nearer My God to Thee" too.
That's right.
Which was just and how uncomfortably long that shot was, because all before every time we heard that song, it was like one verse, and then this one was like a verse, a chorus, and another verse. It was very,
while Dad's just dead and the kids are like crying,
and they're crying and like having to sing along with her. That everyone in this scene, I thought, did a
good job.
Richard being dead,
the kiddos,
your head looked real bloody.
Yeah.
And then the
good job
kids,
to the practical effects department.
Yeah, but yeah, as Jaeden was sitting there like crying and like trying to mouth the words, and he was like grabbing Mia's hand and stuff. It's all very sad. But yes, then she, like you said, she takes that tape,
puts it over their mouths, says sin, and then we just have the gun on the table.
And we see 3 bullets are basically left in the chamber, and then it's just black.
And it cuts to the credits.
So we never see
them dying or anything.
Yeah, but you can infer.
I would hope that, like, I don't know why they weren't fighting her at any point. Maybe they just had Gil at that point. I don't know.
Well, and also, like, both your parents are dead. Like,
no will to live.
Yeah, after you just witnessed your father
your
murdered
fault.
in front of you, and then
fault.
knowing that
it's your fault.
They're probably just like, I don't know what to do in this situation. And who knows, they could have been tied or something to the chair in some way as well.
Yeah.
I don't. It doesn't show that. And obviously their hands were free because we see Aiden's hand reach for Mia, I believe.
Yeah.
He tells
I don't
her
think
like
they
he
were.
consoles
I
her.
honestly don't think they were tied. I think they were just there.
Yeah.
But they're obviously probably in shock. So they're just going along with it. But yeah, that is 2019's The Lodge.
Really fucked up. I was like, Hulu? Is that where you?
Yeah, on Hulu. Watch it on Hulu.
I did not. I watched it on Apple TV.
Oh, gotcha.
But I rented it. So.
But it's free on Hulu. Oh,
Yeah,
you don't
but
have
I don't
Hulu?
have Hulu.
You need to get my login.
I know I had it at one point.
Okay, I'll give it back to you. And so yeah, that was a really dark movie, and the whole time I was like, wow. By the time I got to the twist, I'm like, you know what? That the kids deserve it, and I felt bad for Grace, and I felt bad because this is someone who was probably like recovered, and then they broke her. Yeah, like for just, I mean, I get it, like they felt a certain type of way about their mama and stuff, but like it's also like, you know,
there's a point when
you can't gaslight someone into like going crazy just because you're mad that daddy's
and they
sleeping with her now.
Gaslit her with the gas heater.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, they didn't actually, but like they used that as fully they had a very like
non-stop
literal
gas
form of gas lighting, even though it wasn't an actual. They poisoned her, but
so
which did you know that like the term gaslight came from a play?
No,
that was literally called The Gaslight, where this man like
made a woman go crazy.
Yeah, he told her that the lights in their little lights weren't getting any dimmer. He was like, you're just imagining it. Well, he was like purposely doing it. Like,
really?
So, yeah.
Wow.
I don't know.
The more you know.
As I was reading more about it, 1938 thriller play set in Victorian era, written by the British novelist and playwright Patrick Hamilton.
Oh, Hamilton.
Yes, Hamilton.
Not the Hamilton. Is written by Mr. Hamilton?
Yes, Alexander
Poe. No, Alexander
Poe Hamilton. But Patrick Hamilton.
Patrick Hamilton. Wait, who's Alexander Hamilton?
He's like a president.
Oh, and that's what the Hamilton is about?
Yeah.
Why would they make a play, a Broadway musical about Hamilton, about the president? What did he do? Okay, we'll have to talk about it later. Have you seen
the musical?
No, I've heard of Hamilton. I just don't know what it's about. I know it's super famous, right?
Yes. Super good musical.
But isn't there multiple Hamiltons?
I'm sure it's,
like people put on their different versions. Plays,
multiple plays of like other than the Broadway.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm
like
sure.
Some
like
people
other
like recreate like Macbeth and like this and that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can definitely do that.
Yeah.
Cats.
Cats on Broadway.
But anyways, Patrick
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yes, he wrote it.
Okay.
And he did not write this play though. Patrick Hamilton did. Okay. It's a dark tale of marriage based on a deceit and trickery, and a husband committed to driving his wife insane in order to steal from her. And its first performance happened December 5th, 1938. It's December 5th.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God. We were recording this on December 5th. That
is crazy. It's meant to be.
It is.
That is divine intervention and intention.
1938. How many maths is that?
I don't know.
What is it? 22?
22. Ew.
Minus 1938. 84 years. The 84.
It's been 84 years. The meme can be used. It's been 84 years from Titanic, right? Isn't it 84 or is it 83?
I have no clue.
I think it's 84. It's been 84 years. I think it might be 83 actually.
Oh, his other plays were called Rope.
Oh,
he
nice.
Was probably a fucked up man.
Anyways, so we're going to get into the BooBaes for this, into the boo ratings. I'm sorry.
Not for Gaslight, but for The Lodge.
For the movie, for The Lodge, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 3.5.
3.5.
Yeah, it was a solid movie. It had a good little storyline to it, good twist, kept me like on, like what's going to happen, what's next. And it honestly, The only thing that I think might like, no, not even. I mean, it wasn't that long, honestly. It's like an hour and 40. So like, it was pretty good. I thought it was well told. I actually like seeing Alicia Silverstone in it for some reason. I was like, oh, I really like this now because she's in it.
Yeah.
And the actors were really good.
Yeah, they were.
Well, especially, I mean, the kids and Grace, it all worked together. I felt really bad for Grace.
Yeah.
But then kind of not situation. Because then I was like, well, I didn't really feel bad for anybody, honestly, because we already got the inception of her, like, and then like, because we didn't like her because she's the other woman, but then like this and that. And so, yeah, I don't know.
No one got off scotch-free.
Yeah, we're all sinners.
We are all sinners.
Wow. You know, that ties into the movie. We're all sinners. We sin.
We sin.
S-I-N.
Everyone get your duct tape. No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, I give it a 3.5 boost.
That's fair. Good. I really liked this movie the first time I saw it, and I still really like it now. And I love what you're doing.
I can't sit still ever.
But I feel like I want to give this a 4.5.
Ooh.
I still like it.
That's a high.
I still like it a lot.
She up there.
I liked all the twists and turns. Yeah. I liked how it, even still rewatching it. Of course, you know, I was a few years removed. I had no clue what was going on. I was like, oh, fuck, what happened?
Yeah.
And it still had a lot of moments that shocked me. And I loved the soundtrack. I loved all the cinematography, just the lighting and stuff in general, and the way that they truly made that place feel completely isolated.
Yeah.
Like nothing was nearby.
Nothing's out there. The snow was so like,
the way,
devastatingly
it felt
alone.
Like a wasteland, especially with some of those shots of just across that lake and stuff. It was it was really well done. And then again, the acting from the children and Grace was phenomenal. They did a great job of selling throughout the whole film. But that last scene in particular was like really good. But I mean, I felt like I was going
through it with them.
Crazy with Grace, because as things start, I felt betrayed. Yeah. When the kids, I was like, "Fuck, they did hide that shit away. Come on."
Yeah, because the whole time because you don't want to think that they're doing this to you, because that's super fucked up.
Yeah, it is, and of course there's this sort of innocence that comes along
with children inherently. Yeah, you couldn't think that they're gonna be doing this,
and then. I don't know. Andrew brought up a point about like the purity of like snow and symbolism of snow and stuff within literature and stuff like that as well.
It's true. White.
Her like possibly even Grace's like innocence in her brain.
She was truly the innocent one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then ended up being the one who was targeted, which is.
That's true. Yeah. Maybe she never did. And she probably might have never did anything wrong.
And I mean, also.
It was all Richard.
Richard might not have mentioned that he had a wife. I'm sure he didn't whenever they first started. Of course, we don't even know if she got involved with him.
We need a prequel.
When the mother was still like...
Prequel. We need a prequel.
They had split.
A prequel that delves into the cult when she was young, and then it ties at the end with her meeting Richard.
And he's interviewing her.
Yeah.
It's a docu-style.
Yeah. And he takes his ring off, and
every time he goes in
and then office, he puts all the pictures of the kids away. But then she had to figure out at some point that she had children anyways, because I mean she's obviously there with them, so I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean he might have told her that after like they became official.
We really want Richard to be the bad guy.
Richard is the bad guy.
You heard it here first.
He was very mean to Mom.
If you know anybody named Richard, get them out of your life.
Hate them.
Because they're a dick.
That's right.
Because that's what you call Richards.
That's true. I have never understood that.
I don't either. Yeah. I don't know.
Doesn't make sense to me.
Don't know.
Anyways, you've got a 3.5 and a 4.5.
Makes it a 4.
Solid 4.
Which I'm actually okay with, because for that moment of when she unalives herself, I just remembered how like I was so shocked by that. So.
I was just, that happened. So good. Not that.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Well, yeah, no, it's not good for anybody to do that. So yeah, but once again, we would like to really hammer on the nail of just like, if you are struggling with mental illness, or if you have thoughts of wanting to harm yourself, please contact some help, because your life is valuable, no matter how small, hurt, scared, damaged you might feel.
You are not.
You are important.
Alone.
Yes, you are not alone, because we have all gone through those thoughts.
Yeah. And I'm like, as not comforting as that phrase is,
Well,
I don't know.
that actually is more comforting to me knowing
Yeah.
that more people go with it, because then I don't feel as.
Yes, but like I mean, I feel like whenever you're in, I know when I was to be, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're
like,
obviously you're not listening.
When people tell me that, it's like, okay, but you aren't hearing me. I feel alone. And whenever I like, you know, when someone handed me a card after I basically told them, look, it was a very like slap in the face. But, you know, you're not alone though.
You're not.
There's a very beautiful story on Two Girls, One Ghost of this listener who wrote in and basically was like, y'all's podcast or the
Saved
ghost.
my life.
Yeah, because they were going throughout the night with the intention of doing
harm to themselves.
Yes. And kind of making it their last night on earth, but they were listening. I don't even know if they were listening to it, but their phone like was turned off. Like they had like planned to not talk to anyone kind of thing. And then all of a sudden
a notification went off or something.
Well, their podcast started playing, but it was like snippets of it. And it was they was like taking bits and pieces from like their podcast, which I have had their podcast glitch on me before and stuff too. Like where weird shit happens kind of as I listen to it. And they call themselves the most haunted podcast in America for a reason. But they apparently it said like, call your mom. And then it went to like it jumped to another part where Sabrina was saying like, you're not alone, something like that. And it was like just a weird technical
for them to hear
glitch that happened that was like, and it felt like, you know, divine or whatever intervention at that moment. And they were able to write in that story, which was super cool. It gave me goosebumps. I have goosebumps all over my body right now thinking about it. It's amazing. Yeah. So anyways, we love you guys.
We do. Yeah.
And we hope that you love us as well.
Yes. Which means that you will listen to us on
so many different podcasting platforms.
Yes. One could be Spotify.
That's right. And if you got your Spotify Wrapped and it said that you listen to us a lot, please let us know. We had a few people posted, so that was super sweet. But then you could also listen to us on Apple
Podcasts
and also roguemedianetwork.com, because that's where we are. They take great care of us. But wherever you do listen, don't forget to
rate, review, like, and subscribe.
That's right, because that is the only way we can get ahead of this world. And it makes us happy when we read new reviews.
We do. We'd love them.
And if you'd like to reach out to us and let us know how you felt about The Lodge, I felt like, you know, maybe some people have seen this film, and let us know your thoughts on it, then please do so on our one social media platform, which is Instagram, and that is at
BooBaes Podcast, and that's BOOBAES, because we are your BooBaes, not your BooBabes.
That's right. And
until next time, bye, baes.
Bye, baes.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Are you a podcaster? Let's talk podcast hosting. Are you tired of your current podcast host? Need real support in a community that gets it? At Rogue Media Network, we offer top-tier podcast hosting services to help you thrive. From hosting and distribution to dedicated support, we've got you covered. Starting as low as $25 a month. Join our community of passionate podcasters today. Contact us at hello@roguemedianetwork.com.